Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday evening Parent Academy webinar session. Thank you for joining. And again, we are excited to have you as audience listeners and participants. I am Tina Folston Hayes, the Parent Academy Specialist for Educational Equity and Outreach for the Alachua County Public Schools, and I welcome you this evening. Tonight, we will receive some helpful information from our guest speaker, Mr. Les Ferrier from FAMU University. Just before we begin, let's review some housekeeping elements. Please keep your microphones on mute through the duration of the presentation. We will be monitoring your questions and respond accordingly. Please use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of the webinar window. And please note, all Parent Academy webinars are closed captioned, recorded, and posted to our website for access at a later date or for re-review for any individuals who could not tune in live tonight. Your questions will be answered at the conclusion of each session. If there is a specific need for a personal conversation, the Parent Academy's email address is parentacademy@gm.sbac.edu. And we'll get to your questions or your requests for additional information. And now, without further ado, I present to you our guest speaker for this evening, Mr. Les. Hello, Mr. Les.
Ms. Hayes, what can I say? Thank you so much. You and your family are so nice. Attendees, I'm pleased to be here. My name is Les Ferrier, and I work for FAMU. I'm pleased to be there 5 years, roughly. I've been at 6 different universities. I've recruited students on 4 different continents. So I'm kind of old. I'm not bragging. I'm just kind of old and I've been around. But one of the first things I want to tell you, I go to a lot of high schools and do a lot of presentations. And one of the things that I concentrate on when I'm talking to students and parents is networking. It's not what you know, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And the way that I met Ms. Hayes and her family, her husband, her daughter, they had come up for an event a few weeks ago. Several thousand people were at this event. It was a big, and I think we're cut from the same cloth because I was the first one there for us. They were right at the front door getting ready to go in. So we just started talking and we hit it off. And Ms. Hayes and I soon found out that our careers kind of mesh together. So I said, okay, well, I figured eventually I would get to see her. Well, she hits me up probably a week later, says, I'm doing this, would you do this? I said, hey, that's what we do. I love it. So Ms. Hayes, I appreciate it. Many, many, many thanks to you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What I'd like to do, attendees, is just share some things about college, being successful enough to get ready to go to college for your son or daughter, if you're a student listening. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I know that when I do presentations, not every student is going to attend Florida A&M University, affectionately known as FAMU, across the country. So I want to give something to everybody and some ammunition that they can use. Just to tell you a little bit before I go to my slide, we're located in the capital, Tallahassee. Students and parents, one of the things I like about Tallahassee is that even though I love Miami and Tampa, Orlando, and Jacksonville, and I recruit in those places a lot, it's not those places. It ain't Vegas. There's fun to be had by students, but there's not a whole lot of distractions, and you can best believe that your son or daughter will be very safe there. When people ask me, well, what kind of neighborhood are you in? Parents, I have 3 grown, I call them children, they're not, but I think about them every day and every night. I'll tell them that a storm's getting ready to hit them. So you want your child, son or daughter, to be safe. And I always say it like this: we're on the highest of 7 hills, right across the street from Florida State, right in the downtown area near the Capitol. 5 minutes. The governor and his wife and 3 kids sleep minutes from where our campus is. Now, I'm not saying your son or daughter does not have to be careful. I'm saying this is a safe place and they will love being there, and you can go to sleep at night with them there. We're an institution with about 10,000 students. About 7,000 of those are undergraduate students, meaning that they are working toward their bachelor's degree, their 4-year degree. And then we have about 3,000 students who are working toward degrees in, say, a doctor of pharmaceuticals. That's one of the programs that put us on the map. A doctor of physical therapy, master's degree in chemistry, what have you. So we have students from all over the country. We have applicants right now. We have over 24,000 applicants. That's a lot for a student with a college of 7,000 undergrads. But this year we've had applications from all 50 states. So your son or daughter is not just going to get the experience of Florida, but they're going to get a nationwide experience. Now, let me fill you in on something. I know you guys are coming from Gator country, and I know Gators and love Gators. We are part of the same cohort as the University of Florida. University of Florida is considered a top 20 university in the country. We're part of the state university system. They call it the SUS in Florida. There are 12 state universities, us, Florida State, University of Florida, et cetera, et cetera. We follow the same rules. We go to the same meetings. We get our budget from the same board of governors. And we happen to be the only HBCU out of that bunch. Now, let me fill you in on what HBCU is. If I could talk to you right now, I'd kind of quiz you and see if you know what that is. Let's keep it simple. HBCU, Historically Black College University, right? Let me explain what this is. The key is historically, back in 1887, when we were formed, and a lot of HBCUs were formed around that time, those are the only universities in the nation where students of color could go. Now, even though we're still classified as an HBCU, if you come on our campus, you're going to say, wow, there are people that look like everything. We have Black people, we have white people, we have Asian people, we have Latin people, almost any race, culture, or ethnicity that you could think of. Why do you think that is? Just think about it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that so many different types of people would trust one of the biggest decisions of their lives to little old FAMU? I'll tell you why. Because we've got the goods. It's as simple as that. I'll give you a good idea of what I'm talking about. I almost said current because up until just not too long ago, he was the outgoing chairman of the board of Microsoft. As you know, Microsoft you're probably using their products right now, largest US company. The chairman of the board was a Rattler. You see this on my shirt. You can see that on my shirt. That's our mascot, Florida A&M Rattlers. All right, we do like this at football games. I'm sure you've seen it. The current president of ABC News, Miss Kimberly Godwin, is a Rattler. She looks like Ms. Hayes right there. So I could go on and now those people, they're no more important than the teachers, nurses, and social workers that we produce. All right. But those people, what they can do, they can move the needle. Our homecoming was on Good Morning America this year because the president of ABC News is a Rattler, right? But we have 80,000 living Florida A&M graduates. What does that mean, students? You don't have to kick any doors in. Those doors have already been kicked in. As a matter of fact, if you do what you're supposed to do and you excel, you're going to have more offers than you realize. And I'm not joking. Now I'm going to share my screen, Ms. Hayes. Is that all right? Got the sound. Everyone, I was telling Ms. Hayes that I said, I hope I don't flub this and forget, because during the pandemic, when we were doing all of our presentations in virtual, I bet I did over 500 of these. I mean, I did them, internationally. I did them nationally to most of the states. But I always like to start out with this. And this is really for the students. I'm not sure if we've got more students and parents, but it's time. Now, if I were out of school, I'd say, well, what is it time for? Is it lunchtime? Is it dinner time? Is it game time? What time is it? If you're a sophomore or a junior in high school, you might be thinking that you have a lot of time to prepare for the rest of your life, for the start of your higher education life. You don't have a lot of time because there's a lot that has to be done. So what you've got to be doing, students, you got to stop playing chess and you got to play check. You got to stop playing checkers and play chess. What do I mean when I say that? I mean that it's time to use strategy. When you utilize strategy, you're not thinking about tomorrow, Friday. You're thinking about 5 Fridays from now. You're in the planning stages. So that's very, very important. Let me go back to my next slide. So just to give you an idea of what we are, and I want you to take this with a grain of salt because we're not perfect if we're not perfect for you. Now, a lot of people will say some great things about us. You guys have probably heard about U.S. News and World Report. They rank things. They rank colleges and universities and high schools. Let's fast forward this. I'm going to have to change this, but we've been the top public HBCU ranked by U.S. News and World Report for the past 4 years now. Public meaning supported by the state, right? Let me tell you what we're really pleased with. That ranking right there, overall meaning in all 50 states, we're ranked 103 out of all public institutions. To give you an idea, remember I said there are 12 in Florida, and a lot of states have many, many more than that. So do the math on that one. So we're real proud of that. Now, here's another important one for you, because a lot of you are in the information gathering stages. You don't know if you want your child to go to a large institution, a small one, a private, a public. That'll be up to you. But one of the best ways to make great decisions, what is that? You can't make a decision without having the proper information. So you can download the free FAMU mobile app. Like I said, it's free. And your son or daughter will know how to do it probably before you do. But you can take a virtual tour. You can find out all the updated information. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and social media. It's not just a gossip tool. It's a good tool for gathering information. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you a video. It's only 2 minutes long. What you're going to see is you're going to see some fun things. You're going to see some serious things, but students especially, what I want you to take a look at is, what is this video saying to you? What is this video, when I watch it, what is it saying to me? What type of inspiration is it providing? I'm going to go ahead and start this, and I'll see you in about 2 minutes. You should be able to hear it. I checked the sound and everything. Now, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. And as I was saying, what does that say to you? What really raised you to the edge of your seat? What raised the hair on your neck? What really got you excited? For some, it might be the band. For some, it might be some of the young ladies and young men working with the lab coats. We have a lot of STEM programs. You know what STEM is: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. It could have been, the fraternities and sororities. It could have been almost anything. But that's what you have to take a look at. And we sure hope that pretty soon you're able to make a visit to our beautiful campus. We're only a couple hours from you. Depending on what's going on in 75, it's a quick trip. Okay. Now, what I want to do now, you're probably wondering, if you've never been to Tallahassee, well, what kind of place is Tallahassee, right? I'm going to show you Tallahassee right now. This is a nice little video. It doesn't have sound, but as you can see there, if you can see my cursor, that's the Capitol right there. That's the Department of Education, right? State Department of Education. It's where all your educational decisions are made, right? This is the downtown area. Now, you guys aren't perfectly flat like as you're getting more towards Orlando, but it's very, very hilly. As a matter of fact, we're known as being on the highest of 7 hills. If you had to walk up to this building, you'd be tired when you finished. Now, just imagine Florida State is on the left of your screen, and they're virtually right across the street. They're a research institution like us, but they're a much larger place. As a matter of fact, the FAMU, FSU College of Engineering, is considered one of the best in the whole country. I'm going to start this video and just give you a look. Now, just to give you some context, these buildings are humongous. This is a large campus, make no mistake about it. We have our own bus system. It's called the Venom bus. Remember? Striking, Rousing, the Venom bus. It'll take you anywhere you want to go on campus. As a matter of fact, when you become a student, you can use your student ID to use transportation all over the city for free. It's very safe. It's clean. It's a building I work at. I'm gone a lot. I'm not there very much, but that I-shaped building right there, this big white building in the foreground coming up is the arena where we play basketball, volleyball, and you've never seen a graduation like this. I mean, we have 3 graduations. We have so many graduates, but it's amazing. It's called the Al Lawson Center. This is our newly renovated stadium. Over here, these are practice fields. We've got something for everybody. The dormitories, we've got, we call them residence halls. You guys probably call them dormitories. So there is something for everybody. Now, what I want to do now, I'm not going to go into all of these programs, but I want to show you what some of our majors are. All right. We actually have close to 100 bachelor degrees, and normally if I were with students right now, I would not say, what do you want to major in? Because they're not going to possibly know our majors. I would say, what do you want to be? Everybody knows from when we're little kids. Everybody understands that question. So it gives me an idea where I can help them a little bit more. Now, I'm just going to flip through these. Like I say, you'll be able to research us. Go to our website. It's one of the best tools for you to find out information on any college, university. Okay. School of Architecture. You know what they do. They plan facilities, buildings, work with other professionals to build them. This kind of confuses people sometimes. College of Agriculture and Food Sciences. We actually have a 250-acre animal farm where we're helping train future veterinarians. All right. But we're also training engineers. People say, well, are you training farmers? No, we're making farmers better. These engineers are capable of turning corn into fuel. A lot of different things are happening there. Agribusiness, food science, some of our top majors there. College education, probably the most important major out of all these, because of all these fancy careers and occupations I'm going to talk about. Who teaches? Teachers teach that. As a matter of fact, a lot of the band directors around the state, the directors of band, came out of the Marching 100 in the College of Education. Now, young ladies or young men, there are many more men in this field, and we're helping to change that because we have a very gender diverse program, college of engineering. If you're good at math and you're a problem solver, you can work anywhere in the world when you get out of this program and work for anybody to do it. Now, this is not an undergraduate degree, but this is our College of Law. Our College of Law is not in Tallahassee. It's in Orlando. Why is that? Because it's a bigger city. There's more opportunities to clerk and intern, right? This is one of the programs that put us on the international and national map right here, the College of Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Sciences, and Institute of Public Health. You got to be good in chemistry. We call these people white coats. You will have doctor in front of your name, students, if you successfully complete this program. Now, this is an academic area. These are all separate academic areas. You'll hear them referred to as school of this, college of this. Most people hear FAMU across the country, they think STEM. We have a lot of scientists on our campus, but we're very good in the visual and performing arts. We've got contacts in motion picture industry, TV industry, Broadway, but social work and criminal justice. Those are all big, big majors. As a matter of fact, this is our biggest academic area. All right. Next is the College of Science and Technology. If you've done any research at all about us, you will know that we've produced many doctors, dentists, and surgeons, males and females. Real proud of that. And we have a definite way that we help develop that. That's where I'm always going recruiting, looking for top students. I would bet that most of them come out of this academic area. Why? Take a look at the majors. A lot of science major. You got to have science prerequisites to apply to medical school. But if you notice, take a look at some of the other majors, computer science, information systems. One of the biggest, maybe the hottest, most in-demand program today is because of the lifestyle we have, cybersecurity, keeping the virtual world that we're on. I was telling Ms. Hayes today, we were talking about it. I was actually on one of these once where we were hacked, and someone was writing bad words on the screen and this, that, and the other because we didn't set up the proper passwords. But cybersecurity, so computer science and the sciences right here. School of Business and Industry. This is where the chairman of Microsoft I was telling about, Mr. John Thompson, you saw his picture on the video screen, just recently donated $5 million to us. Came out of this program, and he attributes everything that he learned early in his career to what he learned here. Supply chain management is one of the most in-demand majors that you'll find it. Why is that? Because business-wise, someone catches a cold, literally, and we saw that happen during the pandemic. Overseas, everybody gets sick. It's a great program. School of the Environment. This is our smallest academic area. The playground for these people is the Gulf. We're only 20 miles from the Gulf as the crow flies. Everyone in this program gets a scholarship and has to do research, like you see the young man with the professor there, their first year. We want them to know what they're getting into. It's a lot of majors, isn't there? I bet you're surprised. School of Journalism and Graphic Communication. What is she doing? She's at a studio. We've got studios everywhere, but she's probably at our student-run radio station, 90.5. This is part of the area where they practice their craft. We also have TV20, which is our own TV station. It's not a cable station. It's over the air. You can use an antenna and pick it up. But what better way to learn how to do news, sports, and weather? They do that every day than to do it in your own student-run TV station. A couple more of these. That kind of different looking joker in the background there, that's called a virtual simulation model. They're future nurses. We have our own nursing school, fully accredited. Virtual simulation models, we have 3 or 4 of them. That is a several $1 million investment. They have heart rate, respiration, blood pressure. They can talk, they can speak, they can move their head. They're like real people, because we can't turn these people loose on people. When they first get to FAMU, they do 2 years on campus, 2 years of clinical study, one of the local hospitals. Now, last but not least, we have the School of Allied Health Sciences. A lot of times I talk to the boys who are athletes. I say, well, brother, what do you want to do? What do you want to do career-wise? I'm going to play in the league. That means that's code for I want to play in the NBA or catch a football or tackle somebody in the NFL. And you know, I always tell them, say, guys, I'm not being a hater, but this is the truth. FAMU has more people who are physical therapists and trainers in the league than we do athletes. And some of them are women. So just make sure you remember that. This is where you're going to start your occupational physical therapy career. Or if you want to be a respiratory therapist, right? That's what that is, that fancy word, cardiopulmonary science. That was one of the, what was COVID attack in the lungs. These people were very much in demand. Healthcare management, health informatics, which is the information system for the healthcare system. So a lot of different opportunities. Now, I want to make a shift. Let me talk briefly about this. And parents and students, don't think I'm trying to hook you into military, but let me tell you why we have this on here. We actually have Army and Navy ROTC active on our campus. And in conjunction with Florida State, we have the Air Force. What is the biggest hot button issue with regard to education today? Is how are you going to afford this? College is not free. You know, student loans, student debt. I'm sure you've heard on TV, newspaper articles, all kinds of things. This is one of the way of making sure that you don't have any debt at all. These people will pay your way through school. They'll provide you a check, pay for your housing, and you don't really have to give your life to them as a career. So we've got people that you can talk to if you'd like to find out more about that. But this is what I really want to show you. Now, I've been talking about academics and excelling and this and that, but we want you to be just as involved in student life. This is how you meet people. Your first week of college, you're going to meet people who are going to be some of your lifelong friends. But we want you to be active in the things you want to do, in the clubs. You know, one of the ways that one of the things that we look at when we're evaluating application is how active are students in high school in extracurricular activities, community service, et cetera, et cetera. We want you to take part in all that, but there are a lot of things to do. We have a lot of eating, a variety of places to eat, in addition to the cafeterias. Okay, right? And I want to save enough time so I can answer some questions. The next thing, they're probably thinking, well, when I come to FAMU, where am I going to live? Now, let me preface this with a statement. We're rattlers, remember? I always tell students, a good rattler is an early rattler. What does that mean? Good rattlers do things on time. When you do things on time, you have choices. When you do not do things on time, you don't have choices. This is one of the places where our first year, this is co-educational, meaning boys and girls stay in these buildings, fully supervised parents. This is brand new. We actually have grass there now. FAMU Towers, north and south, on-site dining, on-site laundry facilities, bathroom in your own room, choice of roommate. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right here. cut that short, I hope you get the picture. You won't find a nicer facility to live in, and this is going to be a big part of your life here, because you're going to, like I say, you're going to meet a number of different people. As a matter of fact, we have what's called living learning communities that that is the basis of a dorm life. The first year, you're going to be in living with students who have similar career aspirations as you. All right, we're going to have programming along with that, such as speakers and field trips and things like that. So that is a big part of the life. Now, the last couple of slides I want to show you. This sometimes is not the fun part. Now, when you've got good grades, this is the fun part. This is no big deal. There are admissions requirements. A good thing about state universities, those 12 state universities, they're much cheaper than your private school options, but they're harder to get into because you have more applicants. Remember, right now, we're probably going to go over 25,000 applicants this year. And our application will be opening up for, if you're a junior, our application will be opening up in August 1. We are in the Common App, but you're going to need a 3.3. Board of Governors raised this up just a little bit. Right now, the admitted population, you know, the people who are eligible to come to school in the fall or start this summer, are averaging a 3.96 now. We give you an opportunity for weighted grades. We want to give you credit for those tough courses you've taken. If you take a look at this, you only need 2 foreign languages. That's a typo, but we take 18 academic units. Of course, you know, every school system in all 50 states are normally different, but we're kind of trying to evaluate you on an equal basis because you're competing with each other for scholarship money, students and parents. So what we have here, these 18 units, we recalculate those. We are not test optional. That is not a FAMU choice. That is a Florida Board of Governors choice. Next year, this year, we took a look at 3 different sections of the SAT or ACT. Next year, SAT wise, you're going to need about roughly a 1020. This is like brand new. We just started talking about this. You're going to need probably around a 1020 in math, a 1020 in verbal. I'm not quite sure what the composite equivalent is with that, but make sure, no matter where you're going, no matter how smart you are, what your grade point average is, before you take these tests, make sure you do prep. You want to do your best early and often if we're talking about 9th or 10th graders here, because not only is this a factor in whether you get admitted to a college university, it is normally a factor of what kind of scholarship money you're going to get. Essay of 500 words, 2 letters of recommendation. We need your transcripts. There's a $35 application fee. And a lot of times that can be waived based on your personal situation. Your guidance counselor will be able to tell you that. This right here will be changed because there's no way that you can, with the number of applicants that we get now, there's no way you can apply by May 1st and get your business taken care of. It won't happen. Now, I want to show you another neat program that maybe when you graduate high school, students, you're not quite ready to start at a 4-year university. Number one, you're going to save money right off. Say, for instance, the Santa Fe State Community College system. The Ignite program is a transfer program. We have gone out and made articulation agreements with 22 state community college systems across the state. All you've got to do is enroll there, let them know before you take about 10 classes, which is about roughly 30 credit hours. And they will know when you say, I'd like to enroll in Ignite, you will get a FAMU ID card as well as the Santa Fe ID card. You'll get all of our events free, most of them anyways. And, speakers, concerts, what have you. But the most important thing is when you finish your program and get your AA degree, you are automatically admitted into most of our programs. So think about that. There's information on our website. And finally, before I take some questions from you, if I can find my cursor, this is my contact information. There's a big reason why the phone number is not on there. It's not that I don't want you to call me, is that I'm rarely in the office. I stay on the go recruiting top students because you guys are what's important. But take a picture or a screenshot of my email. I'm very good with email. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. And I hope you enjoy that presentation. I've stopped sharing my screen, but I will welcome any sorts of questions that you may have. I hope that wasn't too boring, but it's a lot to cover. A lot to cover.
And if you remember, if you have any questions, down at the bottom of your webinar window, there is a Q&A section, and that is where you will type in your questions to have them answered. And I'll just say my experience as a parent going down, we went for preview because my daughter will be attending FAMU this summer. As a parent, when I went and I saw the atmosphere and I met instructors and students alike, it was awesome. I tell you, all of my fears or all of my apprehensiveness of my baby's leaving from Gainesville and going somewhere not close to home for me to just hop in the car and make it to her within 30 minutes. It all went away. It all went away. And I was like, she's going to be just fine here. And so just that video, even like just watching it, but being there in person to see that happening live, is like nothing I've ever seen before.
Ms. Hayes, that thank you for the kind words. And you know why I think that is? Because and I'm not going to put all of Ms. Hayes' daughter's business in the street, but she's an outstanding student. She's an outstanding young lady, and that FAMU name means something across the country. There's a reason why the average is almost straight A's for our admitted students. Students' parents, quality attracts quality.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got big goals, quality attracts quality. You want to be around quality. Quality wants to be around you. So I think that's the feeling that Ms. Hayes saw because I'm sure you met a lot of parents, and I'm sure you met people from all over. So, and I'm sure they thought the same about her and her family. So it was a good day. It was a beautiful day.
I think it was about 3,000 that attended.
It was over 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it looked like it too, didn't it?
Yes. Yes. And he's definitely right when he said about the heels and being tired when you walk to that certain building, because it was.
Wear your shoes, comfy shoes,
Yeah.
wear your sneakers.
Yeah. So when do you know if they'll have another preview or like an open house to where the families that's on here now could take advantage of coming up to?
Yes, ma'am. We'll have a fall preview.
Okay.
Which will be, if I'm not mistaken, the fall preview is in early October, if I'm not mistaken. It's not quite as big an event, but it's still a big one, right? Okay. But I think there's so much more buzz. But you guys can visit anytime. We have a website where you can make your own visit. It's like reserving a hotel room. You just tell us when you'd like to come. If we have a date, you're going to be kind of walked around and conversation by student leaders who are trained to do just that.
And I think you touched on a little bit about the ROTC. When we were there and received some information, I saw that it's like 3 different things that they could provide for you. I think it was like maybe tuition.
I'll tell you. If you've had friends that have gone to college recently or getting ready to go, the school loans is going to be a hot topic. And please don't go on a big debt to go to anywhere. Transfer first in. But they're making an investment into quality young men and women And for them, that's a small investment to pay their tuition and to pay their housing and to provide a monthly paycheck, because they're making an investment. You guys know what an investment is, because they're giving one to basically get four. They're going to get an outstanding individual in their service organization. And that's what it amounts to. But some great opportunities for young men or young women. And again, you do not have to make the military a career to do it. There was one young lady that I answered her question to chat, Ms. Hayes. The question was, will the May 1st deadline be extended? Actually, it won't be extended. It's going to be moved forward, because we want you to be in a position to where you can make your decision sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Your parents will kill you if you're beating around the bush. And this time of year, I will tell you right now, my advice, Ms. Hayes, wherever these students want to apply to or possibly go, whether it's FAMU or whether it's the University of Florida, wherever it is, put in your application by September 15th. Be in a position, because you can't get admitted immediately, because you got to send transcripts and test scores.
Mm-hmm.
Be in a position to get admitted by November 1st, because if you're not admitted by November 1st, you're not going to be in a position to compete for the bigger scholarships. It's very, very competitive.
Yeah, because we actually did everything pretty early when it came down to it, and like how you were talking about housing, like all of that stuff is, you
Oh,
know,
you got to do it.
parents have to be on it, students have to be on it. Remind your parents of every deadline that's coming up to make sure that you have what you need. And for our students on here, or parents on here that have students in the 10th grade, 11th grade, you like have a great start now to start taking advantage of a lot of these things that Mr. Les is talking about.
That's right.
Very important to get started now.
You don't want to live in an apartment your freshman year. You want to live on campus. That's where the happenings are. That's where you're going to get all the information. That's where you're going to have the most fun. You know, you're going to know what the buzz is. You're going to find out about things quicker. But a good rattler is an early rattler.
Okay, so do you look for the student having a certain amount of community service hours?
No, we don't. And as a matter of fact, I think that they've even taken that component out of Bright Futures, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Hayes, going forward. What we want to know is that you have a full life other than academics. We want you to be a bookworm. Believe me, it is cool. I don't know about your high school or your junior high school. It is cool to be smart on our campus. Now, on the other hand, you know, our students like to have fun, right? But they know that balance the successful ones do. But we don't look for a certain number of community service hours. When it comes to getting a scholarship or maybe getting admitted, when we know that you have participated, that's going to push you over the fence in a positive way.
Now, do you know when the new requirements of will come out, so that way students and parents can have a hand on, like, when do I look for new requirements?
I would say midsummer, because we're part of there are two ways you can apply to FAMU. One is the Common App. Everyone knows what the Common App is. That doesn't open until August 1st. That's a Common App rule. Our FAMU app, and we don't prefer one over the other, right? Because they're the same requirements. I would say it would open up a couple of weeks before. This past year, you know when it opened up? June the 15th. Midnight, June the 15th. We had about 250 applications. Now, believe me, students, you don't have to do that. Believe me. You know, you do what you're supposed to, and you apply by September 15th, you're going to be good. But hey, people don't play. That's how it is. Those are good role models to follow after, though.
Wonderful. Do we have any other questions?
You guys can always hit me up later. you know, you normally think of a question when the session's over, but you can always hit me up later. Like I say, you hit me up on email, you have my word, I'll hit you back. And you know, Miss Hayes knows how to reach me if you happen to lose it. And you know, if I'm able to come to your high school this fall and you're a junior or senior, make sure you come, because it's a good situation. It's a good situation. It's a good experience for you. And I'd love to have you, and I'd love to be able to tell you about you know, some of the ways that we've seen that students can be more successful.
Okay, and then we have a question. What would you say are the top 3 or 4 things to help you be accepted into a college in general?
Very, very good question. I'll tell you what's going to be right at the top of the list is your grades and SAT scores. You know, it's just the way it is. Why is that? Because you go to school for 12 years, wherever you go to school in the 50 states, and that is, you know, one of the mechanisms that we evaluate. In Florida, again, we are not test optional. Some states, whether it's private or public, you won't have to take that. But test the transcripts, what type of activities you participated in, whether it's extracurricular activities, whether you've been in Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, excuse me, whether you've been in SGA at your school. What are SGAs? SGA participants are leaders, right? What is every college university looking for? They're looking for leaders, right? They're looking for talent. Another thing is, you know, we don't necessarily use vested interest. You know, what they call that is, some college universities, if you don't show interest in them, you're all but saying you're kind of interested, but you're not really interested. We don't have that as a requirement. As long as you meet the requirements, we're going to admit you. But there are some college universities where you actually have to show them that you visited, you know, you've responded to their emails, their text, whether it's fair or not. Those are some of the mechanisms that they use. But 2 of the things that are most in your control, students, is your academic performance. And I almost left out a very valuable one, Ms. Hayes. I'm surprised that you didn't check me on it. We don't want you taking easy stuff, man. I'm gonna tell you, you're not hurting us, you're hurting yourself. You know what I hate? I hate to hear a student say, I'll say, well, you know, what do you want to be? And I say engineer or whatever. I'm like, well, what math are you taking? Well, I'm done with my math. You're never done with your math if you're going to be an engineer or an architect or something like that. So make sure you take those tough classes, whether it's AP, IB, ACE, Cambridge, dual enrollment. We love some dual enrollment. You know why that is, students? Because you're actually going to get credit for those. You normally don't have to pay for that. You don't have to take a test at the end, a summary test either. And if you go to a state university, those are likely to transfer because that's how the curriculum is set up. That was a good question. Good question.
Yeah, that was. And it definitely, that rigor of those courses is definitely.
There you go. Rigor of your curriculum.
Yeah. Let's see, do we have any other questions? Those are all great questions that you guys have asked so far. Very important. And I will say, once the Common App gets ready to open for my parents and students, I'll make sure that I have somebody on here to host, to let you all know that it's getting ready to open and give you some background information on what you need to know about that Common App.
Here's a question, Ms. Hayes. How would you go about applying for the ROTC, for Author Training Corps? They can hit our website. They can tell you exactly what you need to do. They're very forthcoming with information, and they're very good. They're very honest. That's important too. They're not just trying to hook you in the ROTC because, you could get out of it, right? You could just, decide to do it. So they're going to be honest and truthful with you, and we can get you that information. And we do look at weighted GPA, as I was mentioning. Question was, do we use weighted or unweighted grades? The answer is we use weighted. We want to give you credit for taking those rigorous courses.
Mhm.
Well, this got me some good practice, Ms. Hayes. I hadn't done a virtual presentation in a while now.
Well, I definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it.
Oh, believe me, it's my pleasure, because anytime, see, this is like recruiting. I'm giving you some of our trade secrets, students. Recruiting is like politics. Politics is local. Ms. Hayes knows, she's forgotten more about the Alachua County area and the buzz around what's important in the educational system and what parents want, what students and parents consider important. And so she'll be helping me with being my eyes and ears on what we need to do better at, and so on and so forth like that. So I appreciate that opportunity.
Absolutely. And then how would we apply for Ignite?
Just when you go to your community college, just go to your advisor, and there will be an Ignite office, but go to the advisors and say you'd like to be involved with Ignite, and they will know what that is.
Oh, this is a good question. I heard about the camp while I was there.
You can, you can experience them through social media. You can experience them through our FAMU mobile app. You can come to a football game, or, one of the Battle of the Bands competitions. You can go to YouTube and experience them. I will tell you, if you want to be in the Marching 100, the first thing I say, they're like, Mr. Les, can I be in the Marching 100? You better be able to sight read better than me. I'm gonna tell you that, because I would not be welcome. I'm here to tell you, I used to play in a band, loved it. I could not sight read for anything. And if you don't know what sight reading means, well, you're in trouble already. But that was cold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we do have auditions. As a matter of fact, the day of the spring preview, Ms. Hayes, Dr. Shelby Chipman, who is the director of bands, and his associates, I think they had 3 or 4 hours worth of auditions.
They did.
They're looking for talent, man.
Meet us out. Yeah.
They're looking for talent.
Meet us out back. Come on, audition. It was pretty awesome. I think I heard something about a camp, like a band camp that kids could come to.
Yes.
So Justice, I will see if I can find out about that for you. And if you want to put your email address here in the chat for me. So that way, once I find out, or I'll go through Mr. Les and see if we can figure that part out for you, to see if there is a camp indeed that you can go to while you're still in high school to experience it.
Be ready to work if you're part of Marching 100. They practice more than the football team. Believe me, and I'm not making that up. That's the truth.
Yeah, they just went to Paris, right?
They were part of a group that I'm not a fashion forward kind of guy, but I do know that the Louis Vuitton fashion show is the biggest fashion event on earth. I think Beyonce was there, and they could have had anybody they wanted, but they chose Marching 100 to be a part of the program. They could have chosen anybody in the world who would have accepted and gone, and they chose them. So I guess you can say the Marching 100 is international.
Yeah. And we did get a chance to enjoy them during preview, which it was phenomenal. So if you guys have a chance to go to preview, or just go to be able to see what's going on, it's absolutely amazing.
Students, it's the dopest thing you've ever seen. I'm going to tell you right now. There's not a head that wasn't bobbing.
Right.
or patting their foot or moving. Is that correct, Ms. Hayes?
That is
And
correct. And we actually sat on the front row in the middle of the floor. Like it was
it was
awesome.
rocking, wasn't it?
Awesome. Yeah.
And the thing about it, it's not just the showmanship. The musicianship of these people is amazing.
Mhm.
But they can get down now too.
Yes.
Can students in community college participate in Marching 100? I know at one point they could, but I'm not sure about that. But they can tell you that in the band office. That's a good question. I'm just not sure about that one. Is it too late for seniors that apply? Kai, I tell you what, I hate to say this, it's kind of late. It really is. I'll tell you why it's late. Even if you get admitted, right now we think we're going to have a waiting list, not just for housing, but for your spot in the class to be able to go to class. I'm not going to say don't apply. I'm not going to say that. I'm just being honest with you. You know, I'm not going to say anything in front of you that I can't say around you and your parents. It's kind of late. I mean, it's just, and I know that May 1st was that deadline, but supply and demand is a factor. It's kind of late. Think about it, and before you do it, it's kind of late.
So if he or she decides to apply at this point in the game, it would probably be that following year that they would be able to attend. So maybe they would do a Santa Fe or
Yeah, they would not want
part
to
of that
apply
Ignite
now.
team.
If they were going to wait, they would not want to apply now. They'd want to
Okay.
apply for spring
Okay. Okay.
and then take some classes, say it's at Santa Fe.
Okay. And they could probably go into that Ignite program if they decided to do through Santa Fe. And then
The Ignite, it would be good to start it, but it wouldn't be a factor if they were going to transfer after one semester, because they wouldn't have their AA degree by then unless they've taken a slew of dual enrollment classes.
okay. And so if you have other questions that you want to kind of just talk to Mr. Les about in regards to applying and what your options are, I would just go ahead and send him an email.
Just email me.
So that way he can.
I'll hit you back.
Yeah. So we have time for a couple more questions if there are any. And Justice, I didn't see your email yet in the Q&A. So I will let you know that my email address, if you wanted to send something directly to me at the Parent Academy, because I don't think you were on right when I first gave out that email address, it's going to be the word Parent Academy all together. So Parent Academy at gm.sbac.edu.
He just gave it to you. Justice did. He just sent it.
Okay. Gotcha. And I'll make sure to get that band information for you. And we probably have time for one more question before the 7 o'clock hour hits us. And if not, Justice is a she. All right.
There is no justice, just us. That's what my partner in college used to say.
Yes.
For everybody, all I got to say is happy Easter. Have fun, but be safe and stay away from those haters because they don't want you to do great things.
What does it say? One last question. Do you have a fishing program?
We don't have, well, let me tell you what I think when I'd say that. I would think of the school and the environment, because the school and the environment is interested in clean air, clean water, and no climate change, a good environment.
And
But if you just want to learn how to fish to catch a supper, I don't know what we can do for you there. You can bring some to me though.
You guys are so very welcome. And I'll go ahead and close us out for this evening. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us on tonight's Zoom. We appreciate your participation. Each week, you are available to connect with us for more informative presentations and discussions. Once again, I am Tina Folston Hayes, the Parent Academy Specialist for Educational Equity and Outreach for the Alachua County Public Schools. Next week, please join us on Thursday, where we will have some more helpful information for you. Again, if you need to reach me for any reason, you can send me an email at parentacademy@gm.sbca.edu. And I feel like I see a lot more.
Hey, Miss Hayes, the couple I was trying to think of, Mingos. Mingoes.
I know that last name.
I know you know these people.
You're gonna have me thinking about this. I'm gonna have to try to pull them up.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Janelle. Good to see you.
Everybody,
Yeah.
we'll see you. Happy Easter. Miss Hayes, be good. And
Thank
we'll be in touch.
you. Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Y'all have a wonderful
Now,
evening.
you can go back out on the beach now.
Facts. Facts.
All right.
Thank you so much. Bye. I see that there are other questions in here, and I will definitely be sure to get those answers for you. Let's see. If you want to send me your email address right here in the Q&A, I can definitely get those questions answered for you. And you are most welcome.